What's up, my grimlets? How is everyone doing? If you live in the Midwest, it's freezing, so there's that. We are back in the garage working on the Chevy truck. What we are going to attempt to do now that we've gotten it back to the point is get this front diff put back in. So I have it under the truck on a jack. This is really gonna suck because I'm doing it by myself. So we have that tab there, which goes up into this drop mount here. Drop mount is already bolted in over here for this section. So what I'm going to try to do is take this end, mount it up here loosely. I'm not tightening anything. I'm going to get this up into those drop mounts, and then the back portion, as you can see, there's that mount there. Now the directions for this lift kit are not super clear. They come in black and white, like I've said. So this is the new mounting tab for that side. I'm not for sure exactly how it placement goes, any of that. I know this will end up somewhere. I had to drill another hole. There's a bolt and stuff for that. So what you are going to do is to watch me struggle through trying to figure this out. So I am going to attempt by myself to get this thing mounted up in there loosely on the driver front top mount and the passenger side mount, loosely enough that I can still finagle it back and forth to see what I need to cut off of the original bracket, how this bracket matches up, and then hopefully get this thing bolted back in. We can get the axles put back on, get the suspension all buttoned back up. I messed up when I ordered the front brake hoses like an idiot. I didn't think that this thing's lifted, and I need extended brake lines. So I've had those ordered. Those are coming. So we're not going to put wheels and tires back on it just yet until I get those. But for now, we're going to try to get this front diff situated and get that in there. And then I'll make another video about putting the suspension back together and all that kind of stuff. So let's jump in here. Hopefully I can get you guys a good angle to where you can kind of tell what I'm doing. Like I said, I am doing this by myself. So let's see here. Cut my light on. Hopefully that'll help you guys see a little better. But we are gonna try to get this mounted up first and see. We might be able to get this slid up in there at the same time, but I doubt it. So let's just see what we can get going, and you get to watch me struggle and get, hopefully not. Yep, that's gonna suck. All right. This is not gonna be fun. It was definitely not fun taking it out by myself either. Let me get you guys moved over here. And that way you're kind of out of my way. So I can try to better get this thing situated to where it doesn't want to fall off this jack while I'm trying to jack it up. Although that's all it wants to do, so. I'm also doing this completely blind because I'm on the back end trying to jack it up. Trying to do is get this somewhat situated to where I can try to get this bolt in over here to at least have something to hold this in place. this thing will stay while I grab this bolt. Let's see if I can finagle it in there. It's not perfectly lined up, but I also did not tighten these mounts all the way down for that exact reason. I wanted it to have a little bit of play, so I can mess with this. Hopefully, of course I have this smashed up against this front cross member, so I'm going to have to drop this down just a hair. Let's see what I can do, because it's cockeyed, to get this thing up in here. Ouch. Yep, that's how this is gonna go. Alright, so just remember, stuff sucks sometimes. But no sense getting mad. Let's readjust and see what we can do here. Because at the end of the day, can't just give up. It's got to go in. So it was not easy to get out, because you have to cock it and finagle it, and it's just awkward. So I would expect exactly the same thing trying to go back in. All right. Okay, the bolt is right over there. So let's try it this way. Jack it up using my foot so that I can be under here controlling it with my arms. Which is easier said than done, because it just wants to slide back off. So slide it over a little bit. Just keep working it. And as you can see, it's hitting the steering stuff, which is why I had to remove all that crap in the first place after I just put it all in. So sucks, but that's how stuff goes sometimes. Oof. Come on, guy. Oh, this is gonna fall again. Yep. Alright. Well, now that was my hand. So what we're doing here. Let's see if that is a little more stable. Now the problem there is that is not going to work either, because then this tab is going to be hitting this cross member. If I was a super strong guy, I would just muscle this thing in there, but that's not gonna happen. As much as I preach about having friends and a good circle, I don't feel like ruining people's Sunday by inviting them over here when you could be spending time with your family. So, okay. Come on here, guy. Just work with me. We can get this adjusted. Alright, that's progress. How close are we to Mr. Hole? And this kit does come with new hardware. Okay. So come down just a hair. Alright. Now I have it somewhat wedged in here where it's hopefully not going to fall on my head. Let me slide out and see what I got to do to get these to line up, which direction it's got to go. Okay, so super crooked, which is our problem. Can I shift it without it falling on me? Is the next question. down to your butts, people. Shift over. You need this side to spin that way without dropping it off of here. Down just a hair more. Ooh, that's not even on the jack. So, my friend, what? I bet you that is what's keeping it from going in, which is gonna be a problem because I need to cut part of that off and I don't know which part. Why I was trying to hang this in here first so I can see. Not cool, man. Is holding that in there somewhat, but I don't like it at all. I could pop this out and try to get this slightly hung. Oh shoot, what are you hung up on? Everything. Alright. Oh, crap as it was. We're way too far this side now. And that is just teetering on there. So, let's just drop it down and see if we can't figure this out. So, let me grab that bracket. So my guess here, the bracket slides on. Get over to the other side. so it can't go that way. So either goes on that way. It has to go that way. That off. This one would literally just bolt right there to that, hold that in place. That drops that bracket, and this would slide into these slots. Drill a hole through here, and then put your nut on the back side of that. Okay, so I have to take the sawzall and cut this ear off. So you're going to slide that out of the way. So this is all a learning process. As I've said, never done a lift kit, so not exactly sure. And then when you don't have the best drawings, it's kind of hard to tell what you need. So that tab is removed. Need to make this flush. Might just grab my grinder and grind it flush. So that get that done. Live and you learn, my friends. This is all just trial and error, basically. Obviously, when you're grinding, safety spectacles. Find my bigger grinder because this is going to take forever. Hoping you all can see what I got going on, but I gotta play shop worker and cameraman, so the angle may not be great. I don't know. The lighting might not be great. I also don't know. So hopefully you can somewhat tell what I'm doing. All right. Well, that is somewhat flush. Let's see if it's going to be good enough. So, nope. I'm also going to have to get rid of this side of the tab, because that is not going to fit in there. Alright. almost flat, but not the top one. A little more. Flat enough yet. This hurts my neck. And the answer to that would be no. It's got a pretty thick spot back there.